This is not a highlight video. Here we are, and the match isn't even over yet. Rafael Nadal, Novak Djokovic, Wimbledon semifinal suspended by curfew, not darkness. England, what is this? What is going on with the curfew? I've never heard of this. This is craziness. Answer for yourselves, England. Who does this benefit? I'm not really sure. In this match in particular, it seems like maybe it's not going to play much of a role. But in general, and I've went over this tournament, I think it benefits whichever player is losing because they are more apt to make adjustments overnight than the player who is winning and just wants to, keep doing what they're doing because it's working, right? So I think that in that respect, it benefits Rafa, and Novak can't take any momentum into the early stages of the fourth set because now it's going to be a complete restart tomorrow. But I don't think that anyone caught a break here. I have a feeling these guys are going to pretty much pick up where they left off. So what I want to do in this video real quick, I'm going to go over set 1, set 2, set 3, tell you what I expect tomorrow, and then I'm going to get out of here. The first set was my nightmare scenario for Rafa. We saw the Novak backhand take over the match completely. Backhand and return. Rafa on the defensive, hitting cross court too often, and I tweeted out, please hit your forehand down the line, hit it down the line. Because when he hits it loopy cross court short without much intention, Novak just eats it up. And then the serve was very ineffective for Rafa in the first set as well. He had to fight on every service game. And one of the adjustments he made was he started falling in love with the body serve. Body serves, it seemed to me like 50% of the time. Body. So, I don't know. It seems like it was working a little bit better when he started going to the body serve. The announcers didn't even mention it. Normally, McEnroe, Fowler, I love those guys on ESPN, but they weren't on top of that one. Rafa was hitting the body serve with a lot of regularity. So that was working well. So in the first set, though, Novak is playing his best. This was danger zone for Rafa, and Rafa seemed to be panicking a little bit as well. You could kind of see it in his game, see it in his face. He was a little bit unsure of himself, and quite insecure at the beginning of the second set. It was 1-1 in the second set. Rafa was serving, and Novak had a break point. This is, like I said, this is peak danger time for Rafa. Novak misses the return and screams in frustration, and I thought, Marco Cecchinato. That's exactly what I thought. He did the same thing against Marco Cecchinato. Novak, you're winning. Stop acting like you're losing. Why? It's not about Novak's game, because Novak's going to be fine. But Rafa, who on the other side of the court seemed pretty out of sorts, is now, no longer demoralized and in a state of feeling like the match could get out of hand. Rafa all of a sudden is going to use that as fuel. That is something that John McEnroe, by the way, was very on top of. Novak did that against Marco Cecchinato. I thought it might have lost him the match. So in the beginning of the second set, Rafa saves 2 set points, and Novak misses 2 returns, and Novak gets so flustered, so frustrated, and sends a message to the other side of the court that Rafa was still in it. And from that point on, a switch flipped. Novak played a terrible service game in the next game. He did break back, but then, by that point, Rafa had already dug his teeth into this match. And look, I don't know if it's confirmation bias or what, but I have been very adamant. I was adamant in the first set. Rafa's got to go down the line with his forehand more. I said in the preview video, Rafa needs to go down the line with his forehand and cross court with his backhand, which he didn't do that even that much. He still went down the line a lot with his backhand, but I thought he mixed it up pretty well with his backhand. But on the forehand, I thought he totally made that adjustment, and I thought it was huge. I don't know. Is it confirmation bias? Am I just looking for it? Maybe. But once again, I thought that was the adjustment that Nadal made, and especially the counterattack forehand. Not necessarily attacking with the forehand down the line, although obviously that's great, but that's quite conventional. Of course he's going to do that. What about defending with the forehand down the line? Rafa's instinct, and most players' instinct, is to defend loopy cross court, more time to recover to the middle, more margin for error, all that good stuff. But for Novak, he's just going to stay on top of you. He's too good for you to continuously defend cross court to Novak's backhand, where he's going to take time away, take the ball on the rise. Rafa went with the counterattack. Novak attacks, Rafa attacks right back with the forehand down the line, and that was huge. And Novak had a lapse in that second set, and I talked about that emotional up and down, and we saw that in the second set. Rafa won the second set 6-3. In the third set, both players settled in. So I thought that Novak was very steady, never had that lapse, but Rafa also had really good tactics. I thought that for the most part, he was dictating with his drop shot, which he has such a good feel for his forehand drop shot right now. He used it so well against Juan Martín del Potro. He dictated with the drop shot, and he dictated with the forehand down the line. It felt like to me in the third set that Novak was just sort of hanging on. And he wins the third set in a tiebreak. I would point to the return of serve in that tiebreak. Rafa was up. Now, Rafa won a big point with his defense at 5-all to get a set point at 6-5. But then Rafa went up 8-7, Novak serving. So actually 7-8. 7-8 Novak serving, and Rafa missed 2 returns in a row. And I thought that really took the wind out of his sails. The next 2 points, Novak mostly just defending. For the most part defending, playing pretty passively, but he got 2 errors out of Rafa. Novak's moving really well. He's striking the ball super clean. But I thought in that third set, I thought Rafa played a little bit better. So for the most part, I think he needs to stay the course. And I think that third set tiebreak was a little bit more important for Novak. Because I think there's been a few times in this match where we've seen the doubt creep in for Novak. Just a few times and just a little bit. But I would be worried about that if you're a Novak Djokovic fan, if Novak lost the third set. But Rafa, I'm sure, will come out firing tomorrow. The question is Novak going to have something new up his sleeve? To be completely honest with you guys, I'm pulling for Rafa because I picked him, and I always root for my pick, is pretty much the deal. But I don't feel that bad right now. I feel like Rafa, the way the third set was played, is in pretty good shape, and I think it was razor tight, but I just kind of feel like Rafa was playing slightly better. So I think if that stays the course, I think he has a really good chance to win the next sets. The next 2 sets. Let's see what tomorrow has in store for us. Hope you enjoyed. Don't forget to subscribe. I'll see you next time.